Hermès has always sold more than just handbags. It sells a fantasy. One of Parisian Atelier's slow luxury and elite exclusivity. But now that fantasy might be crumbling. Allegedly, a flood of new footage just dropped showing what looks.
I need you people to wake up and critically think and stop believing this shit that you see on TikTok, okay?
You mean to tell me you believe that this man is making your Birkins in China? If he's a Birkin artisan, then I'm an astronaut.
Like Birkin bags being assembled far from the cobbled streets of France in massive Chinese factories. This isn't some blurry back alley video. These clips are crisp, time-stamped, and filmed inside what appear to be industrial-scale facilities.
Had a lot of requests, do Hermes next. And that's why we're here in the Highland Park Mall.
In Italy, made in China. Or maybe made in Chile. Oh yeah, that should be a thing, by the way. I have spent over $100,000 of my own money dissecting luxury bags, cutting them open, analyzing every stitch, every layer. Why? Because I had to know what made those bags so expensive.
Workers are stitching leather, stamping logos, and packing rows of Hermès' iconic orange boxes. And for a brand that built its billion-dollar reputation on the idea of handcrafted French artistry, this could be a brand quake. Social media is already calling it the Birkin factory leak. Hermes hasn't offered much clarity.
Because I feel like there is absolutely no measure of quality in any luxury house as to what Hermes produces in their items. I needed to sit down and film this video because I feel like my voice hasn't been heard and there's just been absolutely no consideration for how I might be feeling, and why I also think it's pretty unfair on their part to have no consideration for how I might be feeling. Let's just start off with a quick recap. There's no point me just saying Hermes in general because I feel like not every story is going to be the same. And then I got up the courage. I felt intimidated that I just felt scared of going. And then one day, well, not really one day, I gave birth to my daughter at the end of 2016. And then a few months into 2017, I was like, you know what? Surely I can get enough courage up to go into the local Hermes store. Actually, it brings, how stupid is this? I feel like I want to cry.
And that silence, it's only making things louder. Let's break down the footage that's blowing up every platform right now. We're talking rows of Birkin-style bags on conveyor belts.
It's made in China. I can get that for $12.
Go outside and touch grass. Some of you guys feel like this is your moment to shine and you can finally stick it to people that buy luxury goods without like even fact-checking anything about any of this information.
Close-ups of logos being heat-stamped onto leather in what looks like bulk batches. Clips of packaging stations where completed bags are being sealed in dust covers and slid into Hermes boxes dozens at a time. According to on-screen captions and commentary by the factory whistleblowers,
you're being fed from these factories or people with these TikTok videos which seemingly have false information, everything from pricing to the bags. Like, I just don't understand. A lot of these luxury brands own their own manufacturing and source product from farms that they own. Hermes owns its own tanneries and crocodile and alligator farms, has workshops in France, and most bags are made by a single artisan. So go ahead and buy your DHgate bag, whatever bag, and see how it holds up over the years. Trust me, Hermes is not concerned.
These videos were recorded inside a Shenzhen-based facility that has allegedly been subcontracted to produce components, or in some cases, entire bags for Hermes. Fashion fans and watchdogs aren't buying the coincidence defense. If this is just a knockoff factory,
none of the brands these creators mention, Louis Vuitton, Prada, Chanel, especially Hermes, need to go to China for production. And here is why. Labels like Made in France and Made in Italy comes with strict restrictions. And brands at that level don't risk compromising that. It's just not worth it.
Why does everything from the lining to the stitching mirror Hermes specs so closely? If these are counterfeits, why are the logos heat-stamped with such precision? The footage might still be alleged, but the reaction is very real.
It requires a lot of skill to turn it and get it in the right way.
Il y a des bouchées, des bacs plus 4, 5, 6, on en a, oui.
Does anybody have the Louis Vuitton from China?
De l'entrée, où on me donne des morceaux de cuir jusqu'au moment où je vais avoir livré ma pièce. Je veux pas qu'on reproduise un geste de façon indéfinie en se disant bon bah je fais toujours ce même geste et je pense qu'on est vraiment là pour apprendre un métier et pas des tâches.
My point is, I think it's crazy how designer brands have been selling things for thousands when China sell them on and literally they're so cheap. If the Chinese manufacturers are making the same, like the actual Birkins, and then they are also selling these on the side as well, technically this is an absolute fucking bargain because it's the exact same material as a Birkin.
People are asking one question over and over again. If the bags aren't being made in France, what are we really paying $40,000 for as the footage continued to spread like wildfire? Hermes finally broke its silence. The brand issued a carefully worded statement doubling down on its long-standing claims. Hermes bags are primarily produced in France by highly trained artisans sing time-honored techniques. They called the viral clips unauthorized and misleading, claiming there's no official link between their company and the factories shown in the footage. The subtext is, these facilities aren't us, and we have nothing to do with them. But here's the thing. Nowhere in the statement does Hermes actually address the content of the videos. No confirmation or denial of specific batch numbers. There's no explanation for how logos, dust bags, or packaging materials that look identical to Hermes. Stock are showing up halfway across the world, and that's where the backlash gets sharper. Because if the bags in these videos are fakes, why aren't authorities cracking down? Why hasn't Hermes taken legal action against the specific factories involved? Instead, the company seems to be leaning on vague wording like unverified sources and unsubstantiated claims. Language that sounds more like damage control than clarification. To critics, it feels like Hermes is trying to run out the clock. Say just enough to keep shareholders calm, but not enough to satisfy consumers who are demanding hard evidence. And in 2025, silence isn't just suspicious. It's practically a confession. With Hermes denying everything and social media calling BS, luxury authentication experts have stepped in to break things down. According to veteran bag authenticators, the footage circulating online shows two possibilities. Either this is the most sophisticated counterfeit operation ever caught on camera, or there's something much deeper going on behind the scenes. One expert who specializes in Hermes authentication for resale sites and collectors said in a recent live stream, "These aren't your average knockoffs. The leather grain, the hardware codes, the dust bags, they're frighteningly accurate." Others pointed out inconsistencies too, from how the handles are shaped to how the bags are stitched. A few small details that might differentiate a $40,000 genuine Birkin from a $400 clone. Still, many agree if these are fakes, they're some of the best the market's ever seen, and that's exactly what's freaking people out. Experts are now warning shoppers to steer clear of too good to be true offers on TikTok, WeChat, and even some Instagram accounts. They say scammers are using the controversy to push so-called factory direct Birkins, playing off the viral moment, to sell bags that might not be real at all. But here's the twist. Some insiders argue those TikTok sellers might not be lying, at least not entirely, because if Hermes really was outsourcing quietly for years, then some of these bags might technically be real even if Hermes doesn't want to admit it. So what do you call a Birkin made in a real Hermes subcontractor's factory but not sold through official channels? The moment those factory clips hit the internet, social media erupted. TikTok went into full detective mode. Instagram flooded with side-by-side comparisons, and Twitter, or X for the rebranded diehards, spiraled into what users are calling the Birkin implosion. Influencers who built their entire aesthetic on Birkins and Kellys quietly archiving posts, some are even speaking out. A rare move in a space dominated by brand deals and silent NDAs. One viral TikTok read, "So we've been buying overpriced bags made in China, while Hermes gaslit us with French workshops. Nah, refund me." Consumers aren't just angry, they're embarrassed. The entire value of a Birkin comes from scarcity, craftsmanship, and the illusion of heritage. Take that away, and what's left is just another overpriced bag, and when brand trust collapses, it doesn't trickle. It floods. Now, resale platforms are seeing a drop in Birkin searches. Sellers are slashing prices, and the tonner boycott Hermes is becoming more than just a hashtag. It's a movement. Just when Hermes thought it couldn't get any worse, the courtroom. Doors opened, and not in their favor. A class action lawsuit filed in California is taking aim at Hermès' infamous spend-to-get policy. Plaintiffs are accusing the brand of violating U.S. antitrust laws by allegedly forcing customers to buy thousands of dollars in unrelated merchandise, scarves, belts, and shoes, just to maybe get access to a Birkin. In legal terms, it's called tying, and it's a big no-no in consumer protection law. But here's where it gets juicier. Lawyers involved in the case are now requesting the whistleblower's leaked documents as evidence. If those factory cost sheets and shipment records get admitted into court, it won't just prove where the bags were made. It could unravel the entire Hermès sales model. And if a judge agrees that Hermes used shady gatekeeping tactics to drive artificial demand, that could trigger a domino effect across luxury retail. Other high-end brands with VIP lists and client history requirements might suddenly find themselves under legal fire too. So while Hermes is busy suing a whistleblower, they might be walking straight into a much bigger legal trap. This isn't just an Hermes scandal anymore. It's a wake-up call for the entire luxury industry. Now that Hermes has been caught in the crosshairs, fashion watchdogs, TikTok sleuths, and even former insiders are turning their attention elsewhere. LVMH, Chanel, Dior, Prada. No one's safe. The question echoing across Reddit and WhatsApp group chats. If Hermes was outsourcing, who else is lying? And brands are sweating quiet emergency meetings. PR consultants on speed dial insiders say entire comms departments are being overhauled as companies scramble to update vague copy like handcrafted or heritage quality before it backfires. Even the resale market is shaking. Buyers who once shelled out $20K for a Birkin are now demanding provenance documents. Authentication services are getting flooded, and fashion analysts are warning that if consumer trust crumbles in one luxury house, it'll take others down with it, because the luxury game isn't built on leather or hardware. It's built on belief, the belief that you're buying something special, something rare, something real. Shatter that illusion, and the whole ecosystem, from boutiques to influencers to resale platforms, starts cracking. The question luxury brands are asking themselves now isn't, are we next? It's how do we survive what's already coming? Whether the footage is verified or not, one thing's clear. The story hit a nerve deep. For decades, Hermès sold the world of fantasy of artisans in Paris and wait lists of exclusivity. But now, a few factory videos and leaked spreadsheets have pulled the curtain back. And what's behind it? Allegedly, mass production media distraction and $1 billion brand scrambling to save face. Hermes can keep dodging, denying, and lawyering up all at once, but the public isn't waiting for permission anymore. Consumers are connecting dots. Creators are asking hard questions. And whistleblowers, they're just getting started because in 2025, luxury doesn't mean silence and secrecy. It means proof. And Hermes, for the first time ever, has none.